All right. Throughout my life, I've seen plenty of TV shows, and some have stood out to me for one reason or another. Just to name a few, Lost has some of the most excellent storytelling and character building that I've seen. Dairy Girls has wonderful comedic timing and some very funny, fleshed out characters. And Dance Moms, which is one of my favorite TV shows, is just trash TV, and it's perfect, and I have no notes. Thank you very much. But what if I told you that there is one show that has it all? She's perfect, okay? JK, the show is far from perfect, but we still love her just the same. This show is, of course, Degrassi. You've seen the title of this video. So we all know why we're here. Let's talk Degrassi, bitches. Let's go, okay? So while the Degrassi franchise has had multiple spin-offs, it all began in 1979 with the original The Kids of Degrassi Street. So this title is based on a real street in Toronto, Canada, which is also where the show is set, so it all makes sense. Canadian people. This show featured elementary and junior high age children dealing with common problems that kids face. So this show was created by Linda Schuyler, who prior to working in the TV and film industry was a middle school teacher, which explains how she kind of like crawled into our brains and pulled out like our deepest, darkest feelings. Because like, how did she know all that? You know what I mean? Linda Schuyler teamed up with Kit Hood and later on in the process Yan Moore to create this 26 episode after school special. This team is so iconic, and they would continue to work on the Degrassi series for many, many years to come. Their work together would be quite extensive. And thank God, because this is the dream team. Like, this is the squad, you guys. We see a few of the actors from the Kids of Degrassi Street later appear in the future spin-offs, which would be Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High. The most notable being Stacey Mistizin, who played Lisa Kennard in the Kids of Degrassi Street, and then Caitlin Ryan in Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and then she becomes a reoccurring character in Degrassi The Next Generation as well. And also Neil Hope, who, rest in peace, he played Robin Griffiths in The Kids of Degrassi Street and Derek Wheels Wheeler in Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and one little cameo episode of Degrassi The Next Generation. Side note, I think it's kind of funny that he played a character with a nickname in both of those shows, because, like, I don't know, Degrassi fucking loves their nicknames. Like, if there's one thing they're going to do, it's give a kid a nickname. My God. Here are a few characters that I wrote down that pretty much are solely referred to by their nicknames. Griff, Cookie, Snake, Spike, Wheels, BLT. That's crazy. Bronco, Spinner, and Bruce the Moose. They also like to make up their own slang in Degrassi. Like, I don't know if certain phrases or whatever had like copyrights, but they were like, yeah, let's just make up a word. So throughout Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High, the kids sometimes call each other broomheads. Even the teachers use it. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, is this a word that was just made up within the Degrassi cinematic universe? That's insane. But yeah, they call each other broomheads, which I can only assume means like idiots or dumbasses. I don't know. But it's got to be like TV appropriate. So they're broomheads.
Well, you're a broomhead. I'm a broomhead. Look at you talking.
So if I ever say that, now you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Kids of Degrassi Street ran from 1979 to 1986, at which point the creative team was ready to dive into another branch of the franchise. So we are really getting into the meat and potatoes now, okay? I will be completely candid and honest with you. I have not seen all of Kids of Degrassi Street. I did not watch all of it. I watched maybe 5 episodes of it, and I got a little bored. I don't know if it's just because it's so old or if it's aimed at a little bit of a younger audience. But once we get into like Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High, I think it becomes a lot more relatable, even after all this time. If you want to try to watch those episodes just for the nostalgia of it all, and like just having a fuller understanding of all of Degrassi as a whole, I think it's the least connected piece of the series. It's like the most standalone out of any of the installments, but still could be a fun watch if you want to watch kids be kids, I guess.
Everybody can succeed, all you need is to believe. Be honest with yourself, forget your fears and doubts. Come on, give us a try at Degrassi Junior High.
Okay, so Degrassi Junior High, though, I have watched Degrassi Junior High, I've watched Degrassi High, and then everything, moving forward. Degrassi Junior High began in 1987. Skylar and Hood both felt that there was like a lack of children's television that actually taught kids about real situations and challenges that they face in the world. And I think I'm so glad that they were having this thought because, you know, I agree. I'll probably get into this more with the like later seasons of Degrassi, but I am not the biggest fan of like Gossip Girl and that kind of thing because it's just so unrealistic. Like, do people live like that? I don't know. Maybe it's just like, maybe I'm too poor for this, but like, this is way more relatable of a situation. This is like, then I don't know. So this show, Degrassi Junior High, had a natural kind of continuation as the kid actors grew up into Degrassi High, which ran until 1992. It's cool because they use actual actors that are the ages that they're supposed to be in the show. So you have like a natural, like you're growing up with this cast as they grow up. Here's the part where we get to like characters. And I'm just warning you, there's a good number of them. So I'm trying to like give them a few defining traits to help you remember them, especially like if you haven't seen the show. This is like a bare bones situation. We got to keep track of everything, okay? You can watch this even if you haven't seen any of the show. This is just a good, you know, background, a little refresher before you dive into like next gen. Anyway, let's recall some of these characters. There's so many, it's easy to lose track. This is an ensemble show, keep that in mind. So most characters hold about the same level of importance as others, unless they're like kind of relegated to be like a supporting character. Okay, I'm like out of breath. The show centers around this ensemble cast featuring Stephanie K.
All the guys are gonna vote for me. 2 or 3 times, some of them.
Our main girl in Degrassi Junior High. And there's always a main girl, okay? Keep that in mind. There will always be a main girl. She undergoes a self-imposed makeover to become popular enough to be elected class president in the very first episode of the show. She can be stuck up, but also naive. Then we've got Vula Grivogiannis. I'm going to pretend I said that right.
You used me.
Oh, that. Sorry, but, you know.
No, I don't.
This is Stephanie K's best friend. We love Vula. Vula is shy, loyal, and often gets pushed aside by her bestie whenever Stephanie gets a better offer. And who can't relate, you know? Unless you were the Stephanie K, in which case, fuck you. Okay, not cool, Stephanie K. Next, we have Arthur Kobolowski, who is Stephanie's younger brother.
Wait up!
Go away, Arthur. I don't know you.
Of course you know me.
He gets annoyed with Stephanie a lot because she avoids him at school like the plague. He eventually becomes best friends with Yikiu.
I've got a friend who's 12 years old. He gets a lot of wet dreams. Is he a pervert? I'm not a pervert.
And the two of them tend to be kind of like the comedic relief and always get into these wacky situations together. Next, we have the weaselly, try-hard, cool guy, Joey Jeremiah.
This place is so stupid. You're all a bunch of sheep. Bet.
He's kind of like the class clown. He's best friends with Archibald Snake Simpson.
Snake!
Yeah?
There's a nickname. We got Snake, who's really, really tall. Which you wouldn't think would be that important, but he's so tall that it's off-putting. And he's a bit dorky as well, but he's a lovable, gentle giant, you know? And then there's Derek Wheels Wheeler.
Am I a dude or what?
What?
A shy and kind boy who lives with his adoptive parents. The three of them eventually form this band together called the Zit Remedy.
Isn't this a fabulous dance?
Dynamite.
And throughout the course of the show, this is like one of my favorite things about Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High, and I don't even think they were trying for it to be this funny, but the fact that they only have one song, they have one singular song, and they milk the shit out of it for the whole show. And it's not even a full song. It's like a verse and a chorus. Oh my God, it's terrible. Okay, it's honestly hilarious, and I will play it now.
Everybody wants something that never give up. Everybody wants something that'll take your money and never give, and never give, and never give up.
Some of the other main characters include Lucy Fernandez,
Honey, that's kind of a lot. Don't worry, Liz. It's just like a milkshake.
Resident cool girl who always knows how to have a good time. She would have like a party at her house every other weekend because she has kind of neglectful parents who are always working. So she's always got the house to herself to host these parties. We've got Rick Monroe.
Kathleen's mom acted really weird yesterday. I think she was drunk.
That's Kathleen's problem.
The bad boy from the other side of the tracks. One thing you'll notice is that Degrassi loves their kind of like character archetypes where like you kind of almost reduce a character down to a stereotype and then apply it over and over again. So I feel like whenever they're like kind of lost or trying to do something with a new group of people, they just revert back to those archetypes. Like, this is not the last time we will be hearing of a bad boy from the other side of the tracks or a cool girl or the class president girl who works very hard. You know what I mean? Like, we get this a lot. We've got Caitlin Ryan, who's a smart, hardworking girl who wants to be a news reporter.
Hey, listen up, people don't fall asleep. Let me tell you about the Degrassi Clean Sweep.
I'm sorry, guys. There's like so many characters. I'm only going to list a few more. Try to stay with me here. I'm not going to list all of them because there's so many. I'm trying to list the ones that are going to be like important. We've got Christine Spike Nelson, who is aptly named after her quite tall hairstyle.
It was just a little mistake.
Sort of a big mistake.
And she can be a bit of a rebel when fighting for a cause she believes in. Her best friend is Liz O'Rourke.
How do you like Degrassi so far?
Kids here are so snobby. I can't believe it.
And honestly, I'm pretty sure they became friends because they have like crazy fuck ass hairstyles. Like, if you see these two women next to each other, I don't know, I would run. Like, they look insane. So the only thing I really remember about Liz, aside from being Spike's best friend, is that she is like really anti-abortion. Like, there's like an episode where these other two characters, there's like these twins. I don't know. I don't think about the twins. I'm so sorry. And I could never tell them apart. There's these identical twins. One of them, can't remember which, gets an abortion, and Liz protests it like crazy, which is honestly kind of an insane thing to do for someone who looks like a non-binary barista. Like, that hairstyle is giving liberal, if anything. Come on now. I don't know. She was pissing me off. Like, what are you doing? Okay. Shane McKay is one of the cool kids who plays sports.
Hi, Daddy.
He was also the son of a reverend and the first character to do hard drugs on the show. Very cool. Thanks, Shane. Round of applause. We've got a few teachers to talk about as well. Daniel Radich. Morning, Mr. Radich. The man, the myth, the legend is an English teacher in Degrassi Junior High and gets promoted to assistant principal in Degrassi High. And although he can be a bit strict, he mainly comes across as a caring teacher who just wants to see his students succeed. The last character that I wanted to mention, but certainly not the last in the series, there's so many fucking characters, is Dr. Sally, okay? Dr. Sally. Dr. Sally's an icon, okay? She's a sex ed teacher that only comes in like once a year to Degrassi to talk about like sex ed things and give, you know, middle schoolers like the talk. This is going to be important, okay? Because she is not done yet. She will come back. She also has her own radio talk show where listeners can submit their like sex ed related questions for her to answer on her show. And that's all the characters that I'm going to list for this series, okay? Next we will be getting new characters is going to be Degrassi The Next Generation. I'm sorry if I didn't mention your fave, by the way. I tried to limit it to characters that tied into like the future iterations of Degrassi in some way or another. There are certainly more characters that we could talk about, like those twins. I don't know. Let's break down some of the major plot points that we have to know in order to get a better understanding of Degrassi The Next Generation. I've portioned these parts off by like character relationships, essentially, not just like romantic, but like just talking about how the characters like interact with one another. So in any Degrassi show, you're going to find some unlikely couples. The first major one we see is a relationship between Spike and Shane. They date for a little bit and they decide to get intimate for the first time at one of Lucy's infamous house parties. And since both of them are only 13 and very naive to real-world consequences, there is no contraception involved.
Are you sure you can't come by some condoms?
Which leads to Spike getting pregnant. Because in the Degrassi universe, you know that it only takes one time to get preggo. Spike decides to keep the baby, which leads to conflict between her and Shane since he comes from a very conservative family. The two break up, but once Shane decides he wants to be in the baby's life, he repeatedly tries to like win back Spike, but she still sees him as like irresponsible and immature.
You say you want to help until it becomes inconvenient. I can't trust you.
After getting upset by a huge fight about child support with Spike, Shane is convinced by a friend to do acid with him. As we know, doing anything major that Degrassi considers bad is going to end with like very real consequences. These two take the drugs, and the next day it's revealed that Shane is missing. Not great. We then find out that Shane either fell or jumped off of a bridge while he was high, and he is now in a coma in the hospital. So that's not good. And I find it interesting that the characters, and therefore we as an audience, never really find out if he jumped or fell. That's just a mystery, I suppose. We will literally never learn. But it's kind of crazy. So Shane comes out of his coma, and that's good and all, but he will never mentally be the same again. Because, of course, in the Degrassi universe, you do drugs once, and then you fall off a bridge, and then you have a disability that will stay with you for the rest of your life. After going into a coma, of course. Can't forget the coma. Spike later has her baby and names her Emma. This is just a fun little fact, okay? I like to tell this to anyone who will listen to me, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but Emma was named by the writers after the Emmy that Degrassi won for the episode in which she was conceived, titled It's Late. And I think that's fun, so now you have to know it too. Let's talk Joey and Caitlin. Joey Jeremiah is a wannabe player, and he is always wearing this fuck-ass hat. So keep that in mind. That has nothing to do with anything. I just need y'all to see this hat, okay? He's a class clown and will do anything to get a laugh. I vaguely remember him like basically stripping. No, I think he was fully naked at school one time. I don't remember why. But I'm telling you, he'll do anything for a laugh. He has his sights set on the shy activist Caitlin Ryan. She's actually the year younger than him, if I'm remembering correctly. Once again, I have more information than I know what to do with. So now you have to find out about it too. She had a nightmare one time that everyone in her class thought she was a lesbian. They were all pointing at her like, lesbian, Caitlin's a lesbian.
Caitlin's gay, you know. She's a lesbian.
Yes, I know.
She's a lesbian.
Caitlin's queer. Caitlin's gay. I know it's true.
She's a homosexual. I know. I heard the rumors. It's true.
She's gay. She's a lesbian. Gay. No. No, I'm not. No.
She's not. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, Joey ends up maturing a bit throughout the show, and the two do end up dating on and off pretty long term, especially for like high school standards. So this is one of the like biggest ships per se that come out of Degrassi, I would say. Do they have a ship name? Jaitlin? Coey? I don't know. What the fuck is their ship name? Okay, anyway, and I do have more to say about these two, but we'll get there later, okay? We have a whole like movie to talk about. Let's move on to Spike and Snake. So this section is going to be kind of brief because there's a lot more to say about these two later on, like in the next generation, because these characters carry forward for much longer. But near the end of Degrassi High, Spike develops a crush on Snake after they're paired together for a school project. And yes, I said it like project on purpose because they're Canadian. She works up the courage to ask Snake to the school dance, and he accepts, leaving Spike very excited. And she's chatting up her girl Liz about potential dresses for the dance and telling her how cute Snake is and all of that jazz. Oh my god, we love it. We love to see girls being girls. But later on, Spike overhears Snake in the library talking to another girl, Michelle, about how he actually has a crush on her, but said yes to Spike's offer to not let her down.
Michelle, I really, really wish I could go to the formal with you. But Spike's looking forward to it. She hardly ever gets to go out.
That's okay. I understand.
Ouch. This is heartbreaking for Spike, and she ends up telling Snake that she can't go to the dance. He says,
It was nice of you to ask me.
and she says,
It was nice of you to say yes.
and that hurts me. Caitlin, Snake, and the evil Claude. Okay. We're about to get serious, okay? This is very, very serious. While dating Joey, Caitlin begins falling for this other guy, okay? He is smart and he is mysterious and he is named Claude Tanner for some reason. He looks like he has a scent. She hangs out with him outside of school a few times and their relationship begins to grow, all while she's still in a relationship with one Fedora Joey Jeremiah. She even kisses Claude in the hallway and Joey almost catches them, but he doesn't. Caitlin is like, ooh, that was a close one. And then she ends that shit with Joey so she can keep making out with Emo Boy. Claude seems to have kind of the same activist mindset that Caitlin does. And this becomes apparent when he tells her how upset he is that a local factory is going to be making electrical systems for nuclear missiles soon. Ruh-roh. She wants to do something about it, but feels hopeless, as production for this project is already in motion. All during this, Caitlin's approached by a friend who expresses concern that she never spends time with anyone besides Claude anymore. You know that's always a bad sign. Caitlin dismisses this. She's like, nah, girl. Caitlin does not have time for single broke bitches. She is in a relationship. She has a man. She doesn't need this. So Claudelin, I don't know, is this their ship name? I'm making up a ship name. Goes to the factory and they spray paint some anti-nuclear graffiti all over it. But a security guard shows up and pussy-ass Claude jumps the fence and gets away, which leaves Caitlin to take all the blame, as well as giving her a record. So Caitlin was charged with trespassing and vandalism and had to go to court. Yikes. Caitlin is understandably pretty upset about this because the whole thing was Claude's idea in the fucking first place. And he didn't take any of the blame. And on top of that, Claude refuses to go to Caitlin's court date to support her, which leads Caitlin to break up with this man, and we all cheered. We all clapped. Let's clap. Yep, good job. So Claude still has feelings for Caitlin, but now she wants nothing to do with him, rightfully so. Fuck this man. He is persistent, though, okay? Even a year after their breakup, he's still, like, harassing her to try to get her to go back to him. Bro, it is over for you. Let her go, okay? Cut your fucking losses, dude. Anyway, Caitlin tells a friend that she wishes Claude would just go away. Keep that in mind. The next day, he comes to school and gives Caitlin one white rose and says goodbye, and that she won't have to worry about him anymore, which is not a good sign.
Would you please leave me alone? I'm really tired of being harassed by you all the time. We're not seeing each other anymore. It's over.
Don't worry. I won't bother you anymore.
Good.
I just came to say goodbye.
Why? Where are you going?
But Caitlin doesn't understand what's going on and believes that he's like just going out of town or something. He ends up bringing a to school and takes his own life in the boys' bathroom. Snake is the one that ends up finding him in the bathroom and runs to go get help. This is something that will traumatize both Caitlin and Snake and will stick with them throughout their lives. We even get like a mention of this in season 12 of Degrassi, The Next Generation.
When I was about your age, I found the body of a classmate who committed suicide.
Which is crazy far ahead in the future. But yeah, that is a traumatizing event that will stick with these two individuals particularly for a long, long time. Let's move on. Wheels and his parents. This is fucking insane also. Jeez. Literally not a single character can ever catch a break on the show, and that's just something you need to learn and be okay with. Wheels is a character with a very complicated home life and a really, really interesting character arc. I like loved Wheels in the first like few seasons of the show, and then everything goes awry and everything's bad, and it sucks. Wheels starts out as a really good kid. He tries his best in school even though he tends to struggle, and he lives a generally happy life with his adoptive parents. They're very good to him, very kind, very great upbringing. However, one night his parents go out to see a movie and he does not go with them, and they get into a fatal car accident with a drunk driver, leaving Wheels an orphan. He moves in with his grandparents and rebels against them frequently, which is understandable. Throughout high school, Wheels falls down kind of a dark path due to his parents' death, and it causes him to act out and steal from people close to him, which sucks. He ends up having to repeat a grade as well. This is a common thing also in Degrassi. I feel like sometimes they want to keep characters around, so they work into the plot like ways to keep them. So Wheels' current attitude and actions drive a wedge between him and everyone around him, particularly Joey and Snake, who were his closest friends and bandmates. Eventually, he turns to alcohol as a numbing agent, which, once again, never good. Now, we've come to a point where we must discuss perhaps the best installment of Degrassi High or Degrassi Junior High, that whole conglomerate, the Degrassi Schools Out movie.
Everybody can succeed in yourself. You must believe. Give it a try. Let Degrassi out.
God, I love this shit. It is packed full of drama. There is drama non-freaking stop. It's great. Okay, let's talk about it. I'm excited. Okay. Degrassi High Schools Out is a made-for-TV movie that was released in the year 1992. The movie served as a finale to this chapter known as the classic era of the Degrassi franchise. In the movie, we see our main characters in the summer after they graduate from high school.
Lucy Fernandez, class valedictorian and scholarship winner.
Yes.
Any comments?
Why, yes, darling. My future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Except for Joey, who has to repeat a year.
Tell me, Mr. Jeremiah, do you feel alienated, surrounded by all this graduate exuberance? Give me a break, man. No, seriously, man. Leave me alone.
Caitlin, although a year younger than Joey, fast-tracked her high school experience, like a girl boss, might I add, and graduated in only 3 years. Joey, who was afraid of losing Caitlin when she leaves for college, proposes to her, because that's a good reason to propose. We all know that. Caitlin's going to school for journalism, by the way, and good for her. Caitlin is reluctant about the proposal, and Short King Joey Jeremiah storms off because with a smaller body, he must hold more anger. That is just the truth. Let me mention that I don't believe that she ever outwardly said no to the proposal. I think she just was kind of like taken aback, like a little off guard. During his little meltdown, Joey runs into a classmate of his named Tessa Campanelli, the fucking infamous Tessa Campanelli, and we will learn why very soon, who just so happens to be breaking up with her boyfriend. So Joey offers her a ride home. Mr. Jeremiah. We can all see where this is going because insecure men get like sort of dissed once and make everyone's lives worse because of it. So Joey goes to Tessa Campanelli's house and they kiss. He pisses me off, okay? They continue hooking up throughout the entire summer. Like, this is not just a one-time thing. This keeps happening, which is not a good look for Joey Jeremiah. Joey's not familiar with good looks, you know? He's very familiar with not good looks, actually, in fact. Think about the hat. Think about the fedora. Joey is basically dating both of these girls, and honestly, it's stressing me out. Like, I don't need to be seeing all this. It's hurting my heart. Near the end of the summer, Tessa finds out that she is pregnant and gets an abortion, all while telling none of this to Joey. Joey hears about none of this at all, which also crazy, but once again, another character getting pregnant. Tessa ends up breaking things off with Joey after realizing that he has no intention of ending things with Caitlin, which, like, good for her. On Joey's 19th birthday, he and Caitlin decide to do the deed for the first time. Caitlin being a virgin and not realizing that Joey was not, which is awesome. She also decides to attend a local university so that she can be closer to him. Yay! Everything's working out in Joeytown. And she accepts his proposal from earlier. Caitlin, please stand up. Queen, you don't need this. Also, I have to mention that Joey's been like bragging nonstop to his best buds about having 2 girlfriends. It's like that one fucking Tim Robinson sketch that's like, I thought 2 girlfriends would be better. I had 1 girlfriend, but I thought 2 would be better.
I really wanted to have 2 girlfriends.
You already have a girlfriend?
I do, yeah, but I wanted to. I think that would be even better. Think about it, 2 girlfriends, that's better.
That's exactly what he fucking sounds like. It's ridiculous. Okay. And Snake is getting kind of fed up with this because Snake has a very strong moral compass and he doesn't like when people do wrong, okay? He also is really struggling in the like ladies department. So he's like, how the hell is Jeremiah getting 2 girls, and I can't even pull one. Like, he's a little jealous.
You're just so full of yourself. Joey Jeremiah, what a studly guy.
And I will say that, like, some of the way that he's lashing out comes from jealousy and not just from being a good person.
He's just jealous. He doesn't have a girlfriend.
You shut up, Joey. If you're not quiet, there's a thing or two I could say about you. Things that some people might find pretty interesting.
But he was also, like, 18 feet tall and a ginger, so maybe the girls just thought he looked a little too similar to Pennywise. Listen, you know what? I'm allowed to make fun of my own culture. I mean, come on. I'm a ginger. He's a ginger. We struggle. It's going to get better for him. He's going to find a girl. Don't you worry. Snake was boyfriend material for the Degrassi gals, but, you know, y'all are not ready for that conversation. We can't even talk about that right now, okay? So he gets so pissed about all this that he just blurts out Joey's secret during a party at Lucy's boyfriend's house. Lucy's boyfriend's lake house, might I add. Ooh, rich, okay. Not knowing that Caitlin overheard him. Uh-oh.
Let's recap the Jeremiah summer, shall we? See what a swell and decent human being you've been.
You have to listen to this.
No, you're gonna listen to me. Joey Jeremiah spends his summer dating Caitlin. Shut up. And fucking Tessa. Oh, what ethics. What a hero. Let's have a great big hand, shall we? Big round of applause, hey? Yes, all right.
This scene is super iconic and very important because it's the first time that the word fuck was said on Canadian television, and they said it twice. This is so fun for me. I love that. Snake and Caitlin both got to say fuck on TV, and I think that deserves a round of applause. Congrats to them, because that's really fun. Caitlin confronts Joey, and she's all like,
You were fucking Tessa Campanelli?
and she killed it with that line, let me tell you. Like, let's be so for real. Like, she had her one chance to say the fuck word, and she said it, and she nailed it. Oh, that was awesome. Okay, Joey and Caitlin break up for good. I'm winking. And Snake feels kind of bad about it because he, like, indirectly caused the breakup. But whatever, King. We don't care. She needed to know. The other thing about Degrassi is that characters are always going to find out. Like, they will fuck around, but they will absolutely find out. Like, you can't keep a secret on this show. It's gonna not be a secret anymore. Okay. So Wheels is dealing with his own demons at this party and has been downing beers, like, the whole day. And he leaves the party to go to the store with Lucy to get some chips, which I guess was absolutely vital in that moment and needed to be done. He ends up getting into a car accident with a family. This accident leaves a 2-year-old child from the other car dead, and Lucy loses her eyesight and is paralyzed. So I hope the lays were worth it, Mr. Wheels. So things are really not going well for Wheels overall in life. So I find this whole Wheels plotline very interesting because essentially Wheels kind of like turns into a bad guy. Like, and sometimes that just happens to people. Like, and I know that there's like a little bit of a Wheels redemption later, and that's good. And I'm glad that we have that. But he turned into exactly what he hated, which was like a drunk driver that killed someone. And it's just so interesting. I don't know.
I've been charged. Criminal negligence causing death. Criminal negligence causing injury ×2. And drunk driving.
So Joey visits Wheels in jail and begins to have kind of like a slight reconnection with him. However, Snake is disgusted by Wheels' actions, which is totally understandable. And he doesn't even want to think about him, let alone go visit him in jail.
And what's with Snake? I tried to call him, but the guy won't take my calls.
So that actually, as far as we know, like, between Degrassi High School's out and, like, Degrassi The Next Generation, they don't speak. Like, Snake does not go to see Wheels and does not speak to him at all, which is kind of crazy. So Caitlin goes to see Lucy at the hospital, and the audience is left unsure of whether or not Lucy is going to ever see or walk again, which is very scary.
I don't want to be blind.
And Wheels is incarcerated for his crimes, and plans to plead guilty in court, which, you know, good, I guess. Snake reconnects with Joey and apologizes for telling Caitlin about his infidelity. Joey accepts his apology, saying it would have come out anyway, which, Yeah, of course it would have. It's Degrassi. The movie ends with the wedding of two classmates where a bunch of friends reconnect, and we leave on kind of a hopeful note between Joey and Caitlin. Like, maybe there'll be more in the future. I don't know. Could be good. Because Joey apologizes for what he did, and they end up slow dancing together at the wedding. How sweet. And that is the end of the classic era of Degrassi. That's all you really need to know if we're going into the next generation. There's so much more to it, though. We just flew through that. So I would recommend going to watch it. I think it's on YouTube. I could be entirely wrong. I have the DVDs of it, so no worries there. Well, I actually just have the first season of Degrassi Junior High. So if you guys want to come over or borrow them, just let me know. We can have a little watch party. We got them all set up here. Yeah, so that's like the end of this portion, but I do have some more fun little things planned. So let's go to the other side of the room, shall we? Ew, that was so disgusting. Ew. So I wanted to do something a little fun, funky, fresh for you guys. I want to do more videos on Degrassi. So I've put together some maybe like traditions that we can start for these videos. One of them being a pyramid of the characters ranked, worst to best, a la Abby Lee Miller from Dance Moms. It looks so shitty, and that makes me giggle, so I like it. The pyramid looks terrible. Let's get it started. Okay. I'm sorry if your favorite character is not on the pyramid at all. I had to cut a lot. Okay, there's so many characters, and I only have so much wall space. Let me just scoot over, and let's take a look at this pyramid. So first, or I guess last, lowest on the pyramid, of course, you can all see it also, is Mr. Claude Tanner. Fuck you, guy. I hate you. You suck. I don't know. He's just bad. He guilts Caitlin even from the fucking grave. How do you... I don't know. He's an asshole. Anyway, then we've got Liz because... I don't know. I just remember she was very anti-abortion, so I'm very anti-her. Anyway, moving on. We've got Yikyu and Arthur. They're pretty much in the same spot. Their only crime is being boring, and sometimes that's worse than being bad. Next is Joey Jeremiah, because he's pretty funny and enjoyable for most of the series, but then he does some fucked up shit to Caitlin, and we don't stand by that. We don't like that. Does he get better? Kinda. Yeah, he gets better. Then we've got Wheels over there, because he's great for most of the show, and once again, then he does some fucked up shit, but also he has a reason, but also his actions, you can't take him back. He did some terrible things. And then we've got Stephanie K. She's fun. I don't really have too much more to say about her. I've got Rick Monroe over here. I haven't rewatched Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High in a few years, so my memory is a little bit fuzzy on what these characters actually fucking did. But I know I mentioned them today, and I think they were nice. I don't know. Then we've got Mr. Radich. It's only downhill from here for him. He's a pretty good teacher. He's not as great of a principal, and we will learn to see that. Then we've got Shane McKay. He had a rough time. And then Caitlin Ryan, love her. Vula, she's my unproblematic queen. Vula did nothing wrong. I stand by Vula, even though I barely talked about her. Then we've got Spike rocks, and then Lucy. Lucy's just so fun. She's always I don't know, when she's on screen, we're going to have a good time. Anything fun, Lucy's got to be there. And then on top, we've got our least problematic king. I wouldn't say unproblematic, but least problematic king, Snake. I love Snake. Snake good. Snake good. We love Snake. Thank you. I also have some superlatives to give them to give out to this wacky bunch. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I think it's a boat. Let's talk about it. So first, we've got cutest couple, which is kind of silly because one of the members of the cutest couple is not even on this pyramid because he was not relevant enough to make it. So sorry to my king Bronco. However, Lucy is up there, so I'm just gonna give her flowers. Okay, let's do this real quick. Okay. It looks great. It looks really good. Okay. Most likely to succeed goes to Caitlin Ryan. Maybe that's not fair because we do know actually where she ends up and she does succeed. But you know what? If she is graduating early and she was off to college for journalism, I think we already knew that she should be most likely to succeed. I mean, she's brilliant. Let me give her her crown. Look at that, y'all. I didn't even test this. I just thought, you know what? This might work. And look what we've got. This is good. This is good content. Okay. Best hair. Listen, you'd think I would pick like Spike or something, but that looks crazy. And I think we all have to admit it. So this is going to go to Wheels. He has a mullet like no other. Like he is what the TikTok boys these days are trying to achieve. Like he's got that mullet, you know? So let's give him his flowers. And then also I just printed out, I didn't know what to do for this one. So I just printed out, a PNG of hair. Some long ass hair. So let's get that wig on him. Let's get that wig on Wheels. Oh, that suits him so nicely. Okay. So, ooh. Wait, oh, that's what this meant. I forgot why I printed this out. So this is going to be most changed. Whether that's for the worse or for the better, who's to say? But this is also going to go to Wheels. So sorry, Wheels. Yeah, he went through a lot. And he changed as a person very much. And last but certainly not least is Class Clown. So we've got kind of two. Joey Jeremiah is, of course, the Class Clown. And I need to give him his flowers. However, if you watch the show, I find that some of the funniest parts are when Joey and Snake are interacting with each other. So I have to give credit to both of them. I'm going to give Joey the clown wig, but you know what? Snake gets the clown nose because they're funny together. Watch some like YouTube compilations that are like, oh, Degrassi Junior High best moments. It's always those two fuckers together in a room. Let me put their things on them. Look at that! They look great, right? Look how good they look. Me convincing myself that this looks normal and good. I think this looks normal and good. What do you guys think? Okay, this is the ridiculous part of this video that I last minute decided to add, and I think I want to keep doing it for all the characters. But I have assigned each character a Taylor Swift song that I think best represents them. If you think there's one that might be better, let me know. I'm trying not to repeat, so if I think one may fit a different character later on better, I didn't use it, even though there are some that like fit these characters very well, but I think they fit other characters better. So without further ado, Claude, I gave vigilante shit because one, I'm not the biggest fan of that song, but two, I think he thinks that's what he's doing. Like he thinks he's getting like vigilante justice with his like activism, but he's not really doing anything. Liz, I gave Mad Woman because also it's another case of I feel like she thinks that this is her. Like she thinks that like she's, you know, a woman scorned. Is she though? Yick, I gave Love Story just because I think he would really like listening to it, and he seems like one of those guys that like if you asked him nowadays like, oh, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song, if he existed in, you know, as a high schooler today, I think he'd be like, Romeo and Juliet, because they always call it Romeo and Juliet, not Love Story. Anyway, Arthur, I gave The Outside because he was always trying to fit in. The only reason I put him slightly above Yick was because I felt bad for him because Yick started to like hang out with the cool guys and kind of ditched him. But once again, I just don't care that much. Joey, I gave Back to December because it's one of our apology songs, and he really needs to fucking apologize. So anyway, Wheels, I gave Hoax. I think it is one of the most depressing Taylor songs ever. And the whole like stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason, felt very him, which is very, very sad. But, you know, it is what it is. Stephanie K, I gave You Belong With Me because she has her little glow up moment, her little makeover. And it very much is reminiscent to me of like, she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts, she's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. Like her little, you know, like, oh, I want to be the popular girl. And I think she would like that song. Rick, I gave Cowboy Like Me. Just because he's kind of like a loner, like a little like, you know, he's not really even a cowboy, but it just seemed to suit his like loner kind of bad boy personality. Raditch, I gave Shake It Off because he has so much bullshit to deal with from these students and he just has to shake it off. Also, I could totally see him listening to that song. Like, shake it off. Like, just picture it, you know? Shane, I gave We Were Happy. He seems like a country music type. And also, like, I could totally imagine him being like, when it was good, baby. It was good, baby. You know, like, just reminiscing on the good old days with Spike. Caitlin had like a million options for me. I almost gave her The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, but I think there's someone else who might deserve that a little bit more. So I gave her The Man because she is working so hard just to like try to catch up to like the men around her, you know what I mean? Vula, I gave A Place in This World, like the whole I'm just a girl trying to find a place in this world. That's so Vula, you know? Or like she's doesn't quite fit in. She's trying to find her place. Spike, I gave Peter. Oh, this one hurts. Okay, because like the said you were gonna grow up, then you were gonna come find me. She always wanted Shane to be more mature than he was. And it just never, it kind of happened, but then he had his accident, so it never really happened. Lucy, I gave 22. I think I was this close to giving her Mirrorball, but once again, I think there's one more person that fits Mirrorball a little bit better. So I gave Lucy 22 because I think she would jam out to this song. She is the party girl, the quintessential party girl of Degrassi. And then Snake, I gave Invisible String, not to like spoil things going forward, but he and his future partner, who, I mean, I've talked about it. Let's just say it. He and Spike end up getting together in Next Gen. And I think they've got that like invisible string pulling them together. And yeah, that's all I have for them. That was so fun. I'm definitely going to keep doing that. Oh my God. This is going to get more difficult as we like juggle more characters around. But I hope y'all enjoyed that because I really did my weird intersection of niche interests. Okay. So what have we learned? Okay. When I hear people talk about Degrassi and how crazy it is, it's usually about Degrassi The Next Generation or even Degrassi Next Class. But I think what we've learned today is that the crazy shit started from day one. The crazy shit on Degrassi started from day one. I think we all know that. And although I believe the slogan came around like way later than this, like not till Degrassi The Next Generation came around, but their slogan is "It goes there," and I think that applies to pretty much like any iteration of the Degrassi franchise. It does go there. And that's kind of what made this show unique in its time and still honestly unique to this day. The drama in Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High is ever present and honestly is what drew people into the show in the first place. And I think we forget that this show had such a huge following before even Degrassi Next Generation. Like we had to have a big enough Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High to even cause a need for a follow-up, a new iteration in the Degrassi franchise. And you know, while The Kids of Degrassi Street is not always as dramatic and captivating, it was a necessary step to lead to like even greater eras of the Degrassi universe. And, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the Degrassi classic era, so I would definitely recommend watching these shows for yourself. It's a good watch. The only parts that I included in this video are the ones that I think will help you best understand Degrassi The Next Generation, because that's like my favorite version of this show and a lot of other people's favorites. This started out as me wanting to make a video about Degrassi The Next Generation, and then I realized there is so much lore behind this show that we can't just skip over. Like we need to know this shit if we're going to go into Next Gen. So it turned into this whole video about kind of the origins of Degrassi, and I think that's kind of beautiful, and I think it deserves its own little video and explanation. But I'm excited to keep moving forward and go on to Next Gen because that is truly my favorite version of Degrassi. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next part where we will dive into the beginnings of Degrassi The Next Generation. Peace out, broomheads. Ew, that will never work. I don't know. They're trying to make fetch happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.